Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered if the passage of time could be gentler on your body and spirit? What if I told you that nearly a century ago, a remarkable intuitive named Edgar Cayce accessed information that might transform how we understand the aging process altogether? But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our future videos. The mystery of aging has captivated humanity since our earliest civilizations. We've searched endlessly for fountains of youth, miracle potions, and cutting-edge technologies to slow time's march across our bodies. But what if the most powerful solutions have been hidden in plain sight, within spiritual wisdom that modern society has largely forgotten or dismissed? Edgar Cayce, often called the sleeping prophet, delivered thousands of readings in a trance state that addressed healing and spiritual growth. Among his most fascinating insights were those concerning how we might naturally decelerate the aging process, not through expensive creams or surgical procedures, but through aligning our entire being with divine principles of renewal. Has this ever happened to you? You've tried the latest anti-aging products or followed trendy diets, only to feel that something essential is missing from your approach. That missing element might be exactly what Cayce was trying to communicate, that true rejuvenation begins at levels far deeper than the physical body alone. What makes Cayce's approach so revolutionary even today is his understanding that the mind, spirit, and daily habits work together as an integrated system that either accelerates aging or promotes renewal. While modern science is only now beginning to recognize the profound connections between thoughts, emotions, and cellular health, Cayce spoke of these relationships with remarkable clarity decades ago. Stay with me until the end of this exploration, because we're about to dive into practices that few people understand, but that might fundamentally change your relationship with the aging process. These aren't quick fixes or miracle cures, but rather profound spiritual technologies that work with your body's natural regenerative capacities. The essence of Cayce's wisdom on aging suggests something truly remarkable: that our bodies are designed to continuously renew themselves when properly supported by spiritual alignment and specific lifestyle practices. This isn't about merely looking younger, but about experiencing a quality of vitality that transcends chronological age altogether. What you're about to discover might surprise you, especially if you've been conditioned to believe that decline is inevitable, or that aging must follow a predictable downward trajectory. Cayce's readings suggest otherwise. They point to forgotten knowledge about how divine energy flows through human systems when we remove the barriers created by stress, negative thinking, and disconnection from our spiritual nature. As we begin to explore these forgotten practices for age deceleration, consider this. What if your body's aging process is far more responsive to your conscious choices than you've been led to believe? Hit subscribe now if you're ready to transform your relationship with aging through mind-body-spirit alignment. What's truly fascinating about Cayce's approach to aging is how deeply it connects our spiritual and emotional states to our physical well-being. This perspective represents a profound paradigm shift from how we typically view the aging process in our society. When we examine the root causes of premature aging, we discover an undeniable link to our internal emotional landscape. Those persistent feelings of resentment, bitterness, and unforgiveness create a toxic internal environment that manifests physically in our bodies. It's as if these emotions leave their fingerprints on our cells, accelerating their breakdown and diminishing their vitality. The transformative insight here is understanding that emotional purification isn't just beneficial for mental health, it's essential for physical rejuvenation. Cayce's readings suggest that when we clear away these emotional toxins, we create space for the life force, what some might call divine energy, to flow unimpeded through our systems. This journey toward emotional freedom requires honesty and self-reflection. Many of us carry emotional baggage we've normalized or even forgotten about. Think about relationships where you might still harbor subtle resentments, or situations where you've mentally replayed grievances. These seemingly small emotional patterns can create significant energetic blockages over time. The hidden truth in Cayce's readings is that our bodies are designed to be self-healing vessels when properly aligned with spiritual principles. Every cell contains the blueprint for renewal when given the right conditions. This isn't merely about extending lifespan, it's about accessing a quality of life where our bodies express the harmony we've cultivated internally. What makes this approach so powerful is its holistic nature. Rather than addressing symptoms or focusing exclusively on physical interventions, Cayce guides us toward addressing the root causes that accelerate aging. At the cellular level, the physical practices, proper diet, exercise, and rest become exponentially more effective when our emotional and spiritual houses are in order. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring the practical applications of Cayce's insights. When we understand that our bodies are responding to our inner states, we gain unprecedented agency in our aging process. This isn't about denying the natural progression of time, but rather about ensuring we age with grace and vitality rather than deterioration and disease. If this perspective is resonating with you, write spiritual renewal in the comments section. I'd love to know how many of you are connecting with these principles. Our bodies are living engines of regeneration. With each breath, millions of cells die and rebirth, an extraordinary process happening beneath our skin without any conscious effort. This miracle of self-renewal is programmed deep within our DNA, yet modern science is only beginning. To understand how our thoughts and spiritual practices might influence this regeneration cycle. When we examine the lives of spiritual masters across traditions, we notice a fascinating pattern. Many dedicated practitioners seem to maintain youthful vigor and mental clarity well into advanced age. This isn't mere coincidence. The mind-body connection represents one of the most powerful hidden truths about our existence, one that modern medicine is finally catching up to after thousands of years of intuitive understanding in spiritual traditions. Consider how stress physiologically ages us. Cortisol, our primary stress hormone, directly damages telomeres, those protective caps on our chromosomes that shorten as we age. Through meditation, prayer, or contemplative practices, we activate the parasympathetic nervous system, literally counteracting the biochemical cascade of aging. This isn't wishful thinking, it's measurable biology. Beyond the measurable lies something even more and profound. Many spiritual traditions speak of subtle energy systems, what Taoists call qi, yogis call prana, or what science might describe as bioelectrical fields. These energetic patterns may play crucial roles in cellular regeneration that our instruments can't yet fully detect. The transformation happens at multiple levels. When we engage in spiritual practice, we're not just calming our minds, we're potentially reprogramming our very biology. Research on meditation shows changes in gene expression, particularly in genes related to inflammation and immune function. The inner journey creates outer change. We also see this connection in blue zones, regions with unusually high concentrations of centenarians. What distinguishes these communities isn't just diet or genetics, but a profound sense of purpose and community connection. The spiritual dimensions of their lives, finding meaning, practicing gratitude, and living in harmony with nature, appear inseparable from their longevity. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring how specific practices create specific physiological responses. The evidence suggests that not all spiritual practices affect our biology in the same way. Some traditions focus on energy cultivation, others on surrender and acceptance, and still others on compassionate service. Each pathway appears to trigger distinct regenerative responses in the body. What's particularly fascinating is how these practices might be reconfigured for personalized longevity. Your unique constitution, tendencies, and spiritual inclinations may respond differently to various approaches. The body's wisdom, when properly accessed, becomes an extraordinary ally in this exploration. If you've experienced that moment of profound peace where time seems to stand still and your body feels simultaneously energized and deeply rested, type "timeless moment" in the comments below. The power of our emotional state on our physical bodies goes far deeper than most people realize. When we live in fear, anxiety, or hatred, we're literally instructing our cells to degrade faster. These negative emotional patterns become a silent accelerator of the aging process, influencing everything from our immune response to how our DNA replicates. It's a profound revelation that what we feel internally manifests externally in ways science is only beginning to understand. I've observed this transformation in countless people. Those who carry bitterness show it in their faces, their posture, even their energy. It's as if their very life force is being drained away. Meanwhile, those who cultivate faith, love, and gratitude seem to possess a certain vitality that defies their chronological age. Their eyes shine differently. Their skin appears more radiant. But this isn't just subjective. Emerging research in psychoneuroimmunology confirms this mind-body connection in fascinating detail. What we're discovering is that our spiritual state may be the hidden regulator of our biological age. When we disconnect from God or our source of spiritual nourishment, we experience a type of existential stress that triggers inflammatory cascades throughout the body. This constant state of spiritual drought manifests physically. Our cells literally respond to this disconnection. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by examining what happens on a cellular level when we experience divine connection. Those moments of profound spiritual awareness, whether through prayer, meditation, or simply existing in a state of gratitude, trigger the release of healing compounds in our bodies. Our parasympathetic nervous system activates, cortisol levels drop, and our bodies enter a regenerative state that counteracts aging. This journey toward rejuvenation isn't just about looking younger, it's about reclaiming the vitality that comes from alignment with divine principles. Every person I've witnessed who has made this spiritual reconnection describes a sense of lightness, as if years of accumulated weight have been lifted. Their immune systems strengthen, their sleep improves, and they often report chronic conditions mysteriously improving. Click subscribe to join our community of ageless explorers and receive new integration practices every day. The revelation here is that aging isn't simply a linear process that happens to us. It's responsive to our inner landscape. Your body is listening to your thoughts, emotions, and spiritual state every moment of every day. Each cell contains receptors that respond to the biochemical signatures of your emotions. This means your attitude toward life is continuously influencing your biology in ways we're only beginning to document. What makes this understanding so powerful is that it gives us agency in what previously seemed inevitable. We aren't passive victims of time, but active participants in how our bodies experience the passage of years. The choice to cultivate love instead of fear, forgiveness instead of resentment, becomes not just a spiritual practice, but a biological intervention. If you're resonating with this wisdom about the connection between spiritual health and physical aging, write in the comments, "My spirit affects my cells." Let me know you're grasping this profound connection. Our bodies are constantly in flux, silently revolutionizing themselves beneath our awareness. Consider this remarkable truth. Approximately every 7 years, we essentially become new people on a cellular level. Most cells in your body don't live nearly as long as you do. They're born, serve their purpose, and are replaced in an endless cycle of renewal. Your skin completely regenerates every 27 days. Your liver, about every 150 days. Even your skeleton, which seems so permanent, replaces itself entirely every decade or so. This biological transformation happens without our conscious participation, yet it raises profound questions about identity and continuity. If the physical you from 7 years ago has largely disappeared, what remains? What carries forward your sense of self through these waves of cellular change? This is where the journey gets even more fascinating. Traditional wisdom traditions have long understood something modern science is only beginning to grasp: the deep connection between spiritual practice and physical transformation. When you engage in meditation, prayer, or other contemplative practices, you're not just changing your thoughts, you're literally reshaping your biology. Research into the science of meditation reveals measurable changes in brain structure, immune function, and even genetic expression. Regular meditators show increased gray matter in regions associated with self-awareness and compassion. Their telomeres, the protective caps on chromosomes that shorten with age, appear to degrade more slowly. These aren't subjective experiences, but documented physical changes. Yet, science still struggles to explain the more profound transformations reported by dedicated practitioners across cultures and traditions. Cases of spontaneous healing, extraordinary resilience, and radical shifts in perception challenge our understanding of what's physically possible. These experiences suggest something happening beyond the conventional boundaries of biology, something that operates on principles we haven't fully mapped. What's particularly intriguing is how these spiritual practices often work regardless of belief. You don't necessarily need to accept a particular metaphysical framework to benefit from meditation or prayer. The practices themselves contain an inherent wisdom that produces results even when approached skeptically. This hints at natural laws operating behind the scenes, independent of our theories about them. I want to go even deeper into this hidden relationship between spiritual practice and physical transformation. The revelations emerging from this borderland between ancient wisdom and cutting-edge science offer a revolutionary understanding of human potential. They suggest we've barely scratched the surface of what's possible through intentional inner work. If you're finding these connections as mind-expanding as I do, write "cellular wisdom" in the comments. Now let's explore the surprising evidence for how consciousness itself might directly influence our physical reality. Let's tackle a profound revelation that's often overlooked in conversations about aging. When we harbor resentment, we're essentially drinking poison and expecting someone else to suffer. This emotional burden manifests physically, etching itself into our skin as wrinkles, weighing down our posture, and literally accelerating our biological clock. Consider how your body reacts when you recall a painful memory or grudge. Your muscles tense, your breathing becomes shallow, and stress hormones flood your system. This isn't just a momentary response. It's a biochemical transformation that, when repeated over years, fundamentally alters how your cells regenerate and repair. The journey toward rejuvenation requires an honest confrontation with these emotional anchors. Forgiveness isn't about excusing harmful behavior, it's a powerful act of self-liberation. When you release the grip of resentment, you're not doing it for the other person, you're doing it for your own cellular health. I witnessed this transformation firsthand with a client who had carried decades of anger toward her estranged parent. Within just 3 months of emotional healing work, her complexion brightened, the persistent tension headaches disappeared, and colleagues kept asking if she'd had cosmetic work done. The only procedure she underwent was the internal work of forgiveness. Now, there's a beautiful simplicity to how we can complement this emotional release with physical practices. Movement is medicine, not complex regimens that require expensive equipment, but natural, intuitive activities that our bodies inherently crave. The wisdom behind simple stretching upon waking cannot be overstated. Those gentle reaches and twists you do right after opening your eyes activate your lymphatic system, which lacks its own pump and relies on your movement to clear cellular waste. This morning ritual essentially flushes out the accumulated toxins from the previous day. Similarly, the act of walking, particularly mindful walking where you're fully present, doesn't just transport you from point A to point B. It creates a gentle pumping action that improves circulation to every far-reaching capillary, delivering oxygen and nutrients to skin cells, brain tissue, and vital organs alike. The coordination required engages neural pathways, keeping your brain youthful and adaptive. What's remarkable is how these simple activities trigger your body's innate healing mechanisms without complex protocols. They represent a return to fundamentals rather than a new breakthrough, honoring the body's inherent design for movement and emotional processing. The hidden truth here isn't actually hidden at all. It's been hiding in plain sight throughout human history, before we became sedentary and emotionally bottled up by modern conveniences and social constraints. If you're resonating with these insights about emotional release and simple movement as pathways to rejuvenation, write "Freedom is my fountain of youth" in the comments below. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring how these principles interact with our daily habits and the surprising ways they can transform not just how we look, but how we experience the journey of aging itself. What we put into our bodies serves as the foundation for everything we do. A balanced diet isn't just about eliminating processed foods. It's about embracing foods that support our vitality and life force. But there's a hidden dimension to nutrition that many overlook: the mindset and atmosphere we create during our meals. When you sit down to eat, your state of mind directly influences how your body processes that food. Eating while stressed or distracted isn't just unpleasant. It actually triggers your fight-or-flight response, directing blood flow away from your digestive system. This is why so many people experience digestive issues despite eating healthy foods. The body's wisdom understands that digestion is a luxury reserved for times of safety and peace. I've experienced this transformation firsthand. Years ago, I would rush through meals at my desk, barely tasting what I ate while answering emails. My digestion suffered, and despite eating nutritious foods, I felt constantly bloated and low on energy. The revelation came when I started treating mealtime as a sacred pause in my day, a deliberate practice of nourishment rather than just fueling up. Now, I take even just 5 minutes to center myself before eating. I set my phone aside. I take 3 deep breaths. Sometimes I place my hands over my meal with gratitude. This small ritual completely changed how my body responds to food. The same meals that once left me feeling heavy now energize me. This approach reconnects us with ancient wisdom that modern culture has forgotten. Throughout history, various traditions incorporated blessing or acknowledging food before consumption, not merely as religious ritual, but as intuitive understanding of the body-mind connection during nourishment. The journey toward better health isn't always about dramatic changes or restrictive regimens. Sometimes the most profound transformations come through subtle shifts in awareness and presence. Your body is constantly listening to your thoughts, responding to your emotional state, and adjusting its functions accordingly. Now I want to go even deeper into how we can practically implement these principles in our daily lives, even with busy schedules and demanding responsibilities. The beauty of this approach is that it doesn't require more time, just more presence in the time you already have. If this resonates with your experience or you're curious to try this approach, write mindful eating in the comments below. I'd love to know who's joining me on this journey of conscious nourishment. We're just beginning to understand the profound impact our thoughts have on physical health. When you catch yourself in negative thought patterns, it's not just affecting your mood, it's actually influencing cellular function throughout your body. The connection runs deeper than most realize. Every thought creates corresponding chemical reactions, regulating everything from immune response to energy levels. Consider the remarkable cases where patients with serious illnesses experienced unexpected recoveries after adopting profoundly positive mental practices. These aren't mere coincidences or placebo effects. They represent the mind's extraordinary healing potential being activated. The internal conversation you maintain daily becomes your physical reality over time. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic of conscious transformation. Prayer and meditation aren't just spiritual practices. They're powerful recalibration tools for your entire being. When you enter these states regularly, you're essentially reprogramming your subconscious to recognize divine patterns. This alignment creates harmony between your thoughts and the natural healing intelligence already encoded in your DNA. Many people approach meditation with misconceptions, thinking it requires emptying the mind completely. The real power comes from directed focus, guiding your consciousness towards specific healing intentions while releasing resistance. This subtle shift makes all the difference in creating lasting physical change. The journey toward optimizing this mind-body connection isn't always straightforward. You'll encounter resistance from old thought patterns that have become comfortable, even when they no longer serve you. This is where persistence becomes essential, continuing your practice even when immediate results aren't visible. The most profound healings often happen gradually, beneath conscious awareness, until one day you realize transformation has occurred. What's fascinating about this process is how it connects to ancient wisdom traditions. Long before modern science could measure these effects, healers understood that consciousness directly influences physical form. They developed sophisticated systems for directing life energy through intention and visualization. Practices now being validated by research into psychoneuroimmunology and epigenetics. The revelation many discover is that healing isn't something that happens to you, it's something that happens through you. Your conscious participation activates innate regenerative capabilities that might otherwise remain dormant. This partnership between intention and biological intelligence creates possibilities beyond conventional medical paradigms. If you're nodding along as you hear this information because it resonates with your own experiences or intuition, type inner alignment in the comments below. Now let's explore how specific meditation techniques can amplify this healing potential. Integrating Cayce's insights into your daily routine doesn't require a complete lifestyle overhaul. What's remarkable about his approach is how accessible these transformational practices truly are. By starting with just 10-15 minutes of deliberate stretching each morning, focusing particularly on the spine, you're essentially awakening your body's natural healing capabilities. This isn't just exercise. It's a recalibration of your entire system. The hidden truth many don't realize is that our bodies are designed to maintain themselves when properly aligned. Cayce understood that the spine serves as the central highway for our life force energy. When this pathway becomes congested, Through poor posture, stress, or neglect, our vitality diminishes regardless of how well we eat or how much we exercise otherwise. During my own journey with these principles, I noticed subtle but profound changes within weeks. My chronic shoulder tension began to dissolve. My mind felt clearer upon waking. These weren't dramatic overnight miracles, but rather the gentle unfolding of what happens when you remove obstacles to your body's natural state of well-being. The beauty of Cayce's wisdom lies in its simplicity. For instance, his recommendation to slightly elevate the head while sleeping, just using a proper pillow height, improves circulation to the brain during those critical regenerative hours. This small adjustment costs nothing, yet potentially yields remarkable benefits for mental clarity and emotional balance. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring how these physical practices connect with your energetic and emotional well-being. Cayce revealed that the body doesn't compartmentalize its systems the way modern medicine often does. That pinched nerve in your lower back isn't just causing physical pain. It might be blocking essential energy that affects your digestion, your mood, even your creative thinking. This revelatory perspective helps explain why seemingly unrelated symptoms often cluster together. The connections between, say, poor sleep, digestive issues, and anxiety aren't coincidental. They're often manifestations of the same underlying energetic imbalances. By addressing the structural foundation through osteopathic principles, you're actually creating ripple effects throughout your entire being. Some practitioners have expanded on Cayce's work by incorporating mindful awareness into the physical practices. When you perform spine-strengthening exercises, bringing conscious attention to areas of tension or resistance multiplies the effectiveness. This mindfulness component turns basic movements into powerful tools for both physical and psychological release. Each time you align your body, you're making a decision to realign your life force. This isn't mystical thinking. It's about recognizing the profound intelligence embedded in our physical design and working with it rather than against it. If what I'm sharing resonates with your own experiences or intuitions about health, write "alignment matters" in the comments below. Now, let's examine the specific nutritional wisdom that Cayce's readings revealed, which complements these physical practices in surprising ways. When we practice deep, intentional breathing, we're not just taking in air. We're establishing a sacred connection between our physical body and something greater. This ancient practice appears in virtually every spiritual tradition because it works on multiple levels. When you breathe deeply, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system, your body's natural calming mechanism. This subtle shift is transformative, instantly reducing cortisol levels and creating space for clarity amidst life's chaos. I've witnessed this transformation countless times in my own journey. There's a profound difference between existing in a state of shallow, chest-based breathing, which signals danger to our bodies, and dropping into those full belly breaths that tell our system all is well. This isn't just spiritual theory, it's biological reality. Nature plays an equally vital role in this restoration process. We evolved in natural settings for thousands of generations, and our bodies recognize this ancestral home at a cellular level. Have you noticed how differently you feel after just 20 minutes among trees compared to 20 minutes scrolling on your phone? The scientific evidence for nature's healing impact continues mounting, from improved immune function to enhanced cognitive performance. The revelations about nature's necessity for our well-being aren't new, but they're increasingly urgent in our digital age. The Japanese practice of forest bathing, or Shinrin-yoku, demonstrates remarkable physiological benefits from simply being present among trees. Your blood pressure drops, stress hormones decrease. Natural killer cell activity, crucial for fighting illness, significantly increases. When we combine conscious breathing with time in nature, we create a powerful synergy that addresses both symptoms and root causes of our modern disconnection. This isn't about escaping reality, it's about returning to a more authentic way of being that honors our evolutionary design. The hidden truth is that our bodies already know how to heal. They're constantly seeking balance and wholeness. Our most important decision is whether we'll create the conditions that support this innate wisdom or continue fighting against our fundamental nature. The journey back to vitality isn't about adding something new. It's about removing the obstacles that block what naturally flows. Now, I want to go even deeper into how these foundational practices create ripple effects throughout our entire lives. When we establish this baseline of physiological calm and connection, we build a foundation for everything else. If this resonates with your experience, type "returning to wholeness" in the comments below. When we think about longevity, we rarely consider how our emotional state impacts our physical body. But here's the fascinating truth. Fear literally poisons your organism. When you exist in a state of constant worry or anxiety, your body releases a cascade of stress hormones that over time weaken your immune system and accelerate cellular aging. This isn't just spiritual talk. It's backed by extensive research in psychoneuroimmunology, the science of how our thoughts affect our physical health. Let me share something profound that changed my perspective. When we harbor resentment, our bodies tense up, blood pressure rises, and inflammation increases. This chronic internal pressure creates the perfect environment for disease to flourish. Yet when you consciously choose faith over fear, believing in your resilience rather than focusing on potential threats, you trigger an entirely different biochemical response. Your body shifts from survival mode into a regenerative state where healing becomes possible. I've witnessed remarkable transformations in people who embraced forgiveness as a healing practice. One particular story involves a woman who had carried anger toward her father. For decades, after working through this emotional burden and finding the courage to forgive, not only did her persistent migraines disappear, but medical tests showed improved heart function and reduced inflammatory markers. The journey toward longevity isn't just about superfoods and exercise routines. It's about the hidden dimension of emotional metabolism. How efficiently you process life's disappointments and challenges. When you hold on to grievances, you're essentially drinking poison and expecting someone else to get sick. But when you release them, you experience a profound internal liberation that reverberates through every cell. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring how our thought patterns create measurable changes in our DNA expression. Recent epigenetic research reveals that our perception of life events can actually switch genes on or off, affecting how our cells regenerate. This means the narrative you tell yourself about your experiences has a tangible impact on your biological age. The remarkable revelation here is that we have far more control over our aging process than previously understood. Your decisions about where to place your mental energy aren't just philosophical choices. They're biological commitments that your body takes very seriously. Each moment of gratitude instead of grievance, each choice to trust rather than doubt, becomes a silent instruction to your cells to thrive rather than merely survive. If what I've shared resonates with your experience, write "My cells are listening" in the comments below. Now let's explore how specific practices can help reprogram those negative thought patterns that may be accelerating your aging process. Finding purpose and meaning in life isn't just philosophical, it's transformational. When we connect with our deeper purpose, something remarkable happens within us. There's an unmistakable energy that flows through our spirit and literally rejuvenates our physical body. I've witnessed this phenomenon countless times. People who discover their true calling suddenly appear younger, more vibrant, as if they've tapped into a hidden wellspring of vitality. This renewal process is intimately connected to the Christ within us, that divine spark that transcends our limited understanding of time and space. The ancient wisdom traditions have always pointed to this truth, but modern science is finally catching up. Researchers studying the mind-body connection have documented how purpose-driven individuals show measurable improvements in immune function, cardiovascular health, and even cellular regeneration. What's fascinating is how this inner awakening changes our relationship with time itself. When we're aligned with our divine purpose, we experience what mystics call kairos, God's time, rather than chronos, linear clock time. Haven't you noticed how time seems to expand when you're engaged in meaningful work? That's not coincidental. It's a glimpse into our eternal nature breaking through our temporal experience. The journey toward embracing the Christ within isn't always comfortable. It often begins with a crisis, what spiritual directors call the dark night of the soul. These moments of profound uncertainty actually serve as doorways to deeper revelation. They strip away our illusions and force us to confront essential questions about who we truly are and why we're here. I remember working with Sarah, a successful executive who seemed to have everything figured out. When a health crisis forced her to stop working, she initially felt completely lost. But this interruption became her invitation to discover something beyond her professional identity. As she began to nurture her connection with the divine presence within, not only did her health improve dramatically, but she discovered a calling to mentor young women that brought her more fulfillment than all her previous achievements combined. This internal renewal process follows a pattern I've observed repeatedly. First comes awareness, then acceptance, followed by alignment, and finally, authentic action. Each stage requires courage and surrender, letting go of who we thought we were to become who we truly are. The paradox is that by surrendering our limited self-concept, we gain access to limitless potential. Now, I want to go even deeper into this relationship between purpose and physical renewal. There's compelling evidence that when we live from our authentic center, our bodies actually undergo measurable biochemical changes. The stress hormones that accelerate aging begin to decrease, while regenerative compounds increase. It's as if our cells respond to the alignment between our daily activities and our soul's intention. If you're resonating with what I'm sharing, write "Awakening Within" in the comments. I'd love to know this message is finding the right hearts. This delicate equilibrium between our labor, our rest, and our connection to the divine creates a powerful resonance within our being. When we establish this harmony, something transformative happens inside us. Our inner world begins to reflect the divine order that exists in the universe. Think about those moments when you felt truly aligned. Perhaps after a productive day, followed by restful evening reflection and prayer. There's a certain weightlessness to your spirit, isn't there? This isn't coincidental. Our bodies and souls were designed to function in this rhythmic dance of activity, restoration, and spiritual communion. The quality of our prayers matters deeply in this journey. When we pray from the heart, rather than merely reciting memorized words, we're engaging in a profound act of vulnerability and authenticity. These heartfelt prayers create vibrations that resonate with divine energy, much like how two tuning forks of the same frequency will cause each other to vibrate when one is struck. Consider the hidden truth behind many spiritual traditions. They all emphasize this alignment of human consciousness with higher frequencies. Whether through meditation, contemplative prayer, or mindful practices, the underlying principle remains. We are seeking to tune ourselves to the divine broadcast that constantly surrounds us. The impact of this alignment extends far beyond just feeling good. Research increasingly reveals that people who maintain this balance experience greater resilience during life's inevitable challenges. Their psychological immune system, if you will, demonstrates remarkable strength. This isn't just spiritual theory, it's a practical reality that shapes our lived experience. What many don't realize is that this harmonization process works at multiple levels simultaneously. As we align our conscious actions with our spiritual intentions, we create coherence between our thoughts, emotions, and physical state. This coherence is the foundation for what many traditions call peace that passes. Understanding. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by examining how these principles manifest in our daily decisions, especially in a world that seems designed to pull us away from this natural rhythm and connection. If this perspective resonates with your own spiritual journey, type "finding alignment" in the comments below. Christ consciousness represents a profound shift in awareness that aligns perfectly with the renewal process we've been exploring. When people connect with this expanded state of consciousness, they often report experiencing their bodies differently, as sacred vessels rather than mere physical machines. This perspective transformation creates an entirely new relationship with the renewal process. What's fascinating is how this spiritual dimension complements the practical aspects we discussed earlier. The body, viewed through this lens of sacredness, becomes something worthy of extraordinary care and attention. This isn't about religious dogma, it's about recognizing the inherent dignity and divine potential within our physical form. Many who embrace this perspective find that their renewal journey takes on deeper meaning. The foods they choose, the practices they adopt, and the thoughts they cultivate all become expressions of reverence for life itself. This mindset shift often produces remarkable results that transcend conventional expectations. I've witnessed countless individuals undergo profound transformations when they begin treating their bodies as sacred. The renewal process accelerates because they're no longer fighting against themselves or viewing their bodies as problematic. Instead, they work with their natural healing mechanisms from a place of reverence and respect. The journey toward renewal becomes less about fixing what's broken and more about honoring the wisdom already present within. This subtle shift in perspective can be the hidden catalyst that makes all the difference in someone's healing journey. When we recognize the sacredness of life operating through us, we naturally align with practices that support vitality rather than deplete it. Proper guidance along this path is essential. While the spiritual dimension provides powerful motivation and meaning, we still need practical knowledge to navigate the physical aspects of renewal. This integration of spiritual awareness with evidence-based practices creates a comprehensive approach that addresses the whole person, body, mind, and spirit. What often goes unappreciated is how this holistic perspective creates resilience during the inevitable challenges of the renewal journey. When setbacks occur, as they always do, the spiritual foundation provides the patience and perseverance needed to continue. It transforms obstacles into opportunities for deeper understanding. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by examining how specific renewal practices can be enhanced through this consciousness-centered approach. The revelations that emerge when these dimensions are integrated often surprise even the most skeptical observers. If what I'm sharing resonates with your own experience or intuition about renewal, write "sacred vessel" in the comments below. The hidden truth about aging that rarely gets discussed is how our emotional state directly influences our physical bodies. When we cultivate genuine happiness and purpose, we actually trigger biochemical responses that can slow cellular aging. I've personally witnessed this, Transformation in people who shifted their mindset from victimhood to gratitude. Their skin began to glow, their energy increased, and they moved with the vitality of someone years younger. What's fascinating is the profound impact of human connection on our longevity journey. Studies consistently show that people with strong social bonds and meaningful relationships live significantly longer than those who are isolated. This isn't just about having someone to call in an emergency. It's about the deep biological need we have for connection. When we feel loved and valued, our bodies produce less cortisol and more oxytocin, creating an internal environment where rejuvenation thrives rather than deterioration. The practice of mindfulness deserves special attention here. By training ourselves to be fully present, we're actually reshaping our nervous system's default settings. Instead of constantly triggering stress responses that accelerate aging, we're teaching our bodies to rest in a state of calm awareness. This isn't just spiritual talk. Researchers can actually measure increased telomere length, those protective caps on our DNA that shorten with age, in long-term meditators compared to non-meditators of the same chronological age. Another revelation that changed my perspective was learning about the connection between service to others and cellular health. When we give selflessly, we activate parts of our brain associated with reward and pleasure, similar to what happens when we eat chocolate or fall in love. But unlike temporary pleasures, the satisfaction from helping others creates lasting neural patterns that support overall well-being. Many centenarians across different cultures share this common thread. They continued giving to their communities well into their later years. Perhaps the most powerful anti-aging practice is cultivating genuine gratitude. Not the superficial kind where we mechanically list things we should be thankful for, but the deep appreciation that comes from truly recognizing the gift in each moment. This shift in perception literally changes our brain chemistry, lowering inflammation markers and improving heart rate variability, both key indicators of biological age. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring how these positive practices can be systematically incorporated into our daily lives in ways that don't feel overwhelming or like another item on our to-do list. Because the true power comes not from occasional efforts, but from consistent small choices that compound over time. If what I've shared resonates with your own experience or intuition about aging well, write "aging gracefully" in the comments below. Visualizing divine light isn't just a poetic concept, it's a practical tool that reshapes our internal landscape. When we close our eyes and imagine golden or white light flowing through us, we're actually creating new neural pathways that support healing. This light visualization technique has been used across spiritual traditions for thousands of years because it works on multiple levels, harmonizing our energy fields and rejuvenating our cells from the inside out. What's fascinating is how our physical body responds to these intentional practices. The body isn't just a vehicle we inhabit, it's an intelligent system that adapts to the messages we send it. When we engage in regular meditation, breathwork, or movement practices centered around energy awareness, we're essentially having a deeply personal conversation with our own biology. Our cells respond to this attention, this intention, with remarkable resilience. I've witnessed profound transformations in people who commit to these practices. One woman I worked with had chronic shoulder pain for decades. Nothing helped until she began visualizing healing light entering her shoulder with each breath. Within weeks, the inflammation decreased significantly. Was it the power of suggestion? Perhaps partially. But brain scans increasingly show measurable changes in neural activity and blood flow during these visualization sessions. The journey toward embodied vitality isn't about perfection. It's about consistency and presence. When we show up for ourselves through these practices, even for just 5 minutes daily, we're making a declaration to our deeper selves. You matter. Your well-being matters. This commitment creates ripples through every aspect of our lives, from improved digestion to better decision-making and deeper relationships. What we're really exploring here is the hidden bridge between consciousness and matter. Modern quantum physics increasingly suggests what ancient wisdom traditions have claimed all along. Our thoughts and intentions carry energy that influences physical reality. By working with divine light visualization, we're not just engaging in a pleasant mental exercise, we're participating in the fundamental creative process of the universe. Now, I want to go even deeper into how these energy practices can be integrated into your daily life, even during your busiest days. The beauty lies in their adaptability. You don't need special equipment or hours of free time to experience their benefits. If something in this explanation resonates with your experience, write "light activates" in the comments. I'd love to know if these concepts reflect your understanding of energy work. The fascinating thing about this renewal journey is that it's not a one-time event. It's a continuous choice we make each day. Every morning when we open our eyes, we're presented with the opportunity to align ourselves with these divine principles that govern our well-being. This alignment isn't merely a spiritual concept. It manifests in tangible physical transformations within our bodies. When we consistently choose gratitude and love as our foundation, something remarkable happens beneath the surface. These aren't just pleasant emotions, they're powerful catalysts for biological change. Research has shown that people who practice genuine gratitude experience fewer aches and pains, report feeling healthier, and even show measurable differences in their inflammatory markers and immune response. What's the hidden truth behind this connection? Our thoughts and emotions aren't separate from our physical bodies. They're intimately intertwined in ways science is only beginning to understand. The ancient wisdom traditions knew this intuitively, but now modern research is catching up, revealing the profound impact of our mental and emotional states on cellular regeneration. I've witnessed this mind-body connection firsthand in countless lives, including my own. There was a period when I was constantly battling minor illnesses, feeling drained and aging faster than my years. The revelation came when I realized I had been unconsciously living in a state of chronic stress and negativity. My journey back to vitality didn't begin with a new supplement regimen. It started with a fundamental shift in my inner landscape. This brings us to a critical distinction that's often overlooked: the difference between chronological age and biological age. Your calendar age is fixed, but your biological age, how your body is actually functioning, can be significantly influenced by these daily renewal practices. Some people in their 70s have the biological markers of someone decades younger, while others in their 30s show concerning signs of accelerated aging. What determines this difference? Often, it's the invisible habits of mind and heart. The person who approaches each day with wonder and appreciation activates different physiological pathways than the one who moves through life with bitterness or apathy. This isn't about positive thinking as a surface-level practice. It's about a profound inner transformation that ripples outward through every system of your body. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring how these renewal principles can be practically applied in our daily lives, even amid the chaos and challenges we all face. Because the real test isn't how well these practices work when everything is going smoothly. It's how they sustain us through life's inevitable storms. If what I've shared resonates with your own experience or intuition, write "Renewal begins within" in the comments below. I'm curious to hear how many of you have already glimpsed this connection in your own lives. Consistent spiritual practices transcend mere aging, reaching far beyond the physical dimension of our existence. What we're really talking about here is cultivating a relationship with something timeless, something that doesn't deteriorate when our bodies inevitably change. This journey into spiritual consistency creates an internal sanctuary that remains untouched by external circumstances. Think about the transformative power that comes when you develop practices that nourish your soul daily. Whether it's meditation, prayer, connecting with nature, or simply moments of mindful silence, these aren't just activities. They're portals to a deeper reality that many in our hyper-connected world miss completely. When I talk with elders who have maintained spiritual practices throughout their lives, there's a remarkable quality they share, a certain luminosity that defies their chronological age. Their eyes carry wisdom rather than weariness. This isn't coincidence. It's the natural outcome of decades spent nurturing their inner landscape with the same dedication others give to external appearances. Self-care through spiritual harmony doesn't just make you feel better temporarily, it fundamentally enriches your life's impact. This is the hidden truth many discover too late. The quality of your inner world directly influences your capacity to contribute meaningfully to others. When your cup is filled from a deeper source, what overflows to others carries a substance that material success alone cannot provide. I've observed how people who integrate spiritual practices into their daily routines navigate life's inevitable challenges with a remarkably different approach. There's a resilience that comes not from avoidance of difficulty, but from finding meaning within it. This perspective shift represents one of the most profound revelations on the path of conscious aging. Your spiritual journey creates ripples far beyond what you might imagine. The internal work you do becomes a silent teacher to everyone around you. Without saying a word, your presence communicates possibilities for living with greater depth and intention. This is perhaps one of the most valuable gifts we can offer in a world often fixated on surface-level achievements and appearances. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by examining how these practices specifically reshape our relationship with time itself. The way we perceive time fundamentally changes when we develop a consistent spiritual practice, and this shift holds extraordinary implications for how we experience the aging process. If something in this message resonates with your own experience, type "inner light" in the comments. I'd love to know who else is exploring this territory. The human body exists in a remarkable equilibrium when aligned with divine energy. This connection isn't merely spiritual, it manifests physically. Consider how people who maintain spiritual practices often exhibit a certain vibrance, a tangible vitality that transcends mere physical health. This isn't coincidental. When we operate in harmony with our spiritual design, we activate regenerative processes that science is only beginning to understand. Our bodies contain innate healing intelligence. Ancient wisdom traditions recognized this long before modern medicine began exploring the mind-body connection. The healing mechanism isn't something we need to create or install. It's already there, waiting to be activated and maintained through alignment with our spiritual nature. Think about times in your life when you felt truly connected to yourself, to something greater. Remember that sense of alignment, that feeling of everything flowing naturally. During those periods, you likely experienced better physical health, mental clarity, and emotional balance. This wasn't just psychological. Your body was responding to spiritual harmony. The journey toward this alignment requires intention. Many of us have become disconnected from our spiritual essence through the distractions and demands of modern living. Our bodies reflect this disconnection through various symptoms that signal we've drifted from our natural state of being. The path back requires conscious choice, a decision to honor both body and spirit as integral aspects of the same whole. What's fascinating is how this spiritual alignment creates space for transformation. When we recognize and embrace our spiritual nature, we don't just maintain our current state. We unlock potential for renewal beyond what conventional thinking suggests is possible. The body responds to the mind, and both respond to spirit. This hierarchical relationship, when properly honored, creates the conditions for optimal functioning. I've witnessed remarkable physical transformations in people who embraced this integration. Not miraculous healing in the supernatural sense, but profound shifts that occurred naturally once spiritual alignment was restored. The body knows how to heal when given proper conditions. Your spirit knows how to guide this process when you learn to listen. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring the practical applications of this understanding. The hidden truth is that your daily choices either support or hinder this natural harmony. Every decision creates ripples through your entire being. If this perspective resonates with you, write "harmony activated" in the comments. I'd love to know you're connecting with these ideas as we continue our exploration. In this journey toward ageless living, one of the most fascinating revelations I've encountered is how deeply intertwined our mind, body, and spirit truly are. This isn't just some New Age concept, it's a biological reality with incredible implications. When these three aspects of ourselves work in harmony, cellular regeneration actually accelerates. I've witnessed remarkable transformations in people who commit to this integrated approach. Consider what happens when your mind is filled with positive expectation. Your brain releases completely different chemicals than when you're stressed or fearful. These aren't just fleeting emotional states. They create entirely different biological environments in your body. Every thought literally reshapes your physical reality at the cellular level. But the hidden truth that Cayce understands so profoundly is that this integration isn't something we achieve once and then possess forever. It's a daily practice, a moment-by-moment choice to align these aspects of ourselves. Each decision to move your body mindfully, to quiet mental chatter, to connect with something larger than yourself. These seemingly small choices compound into profound physical changes over time. What's particularly striking is how community amplifies these effects. When we surround ourselves with others on a similar path, our individual efforts create a collective momentum that carries everyone forward. There's something almost magical about the accountability and inspiration that flows through authentic human connection. We're wired for tribal cohesion at the deepest level. Our nervous systems actually synchronize in the presence of others who share our values and vision. This isn't theoretical for me. I've watched entire groups of people come alive in new ways when they find their people. The biological markers of aging, inflammation levels, telomere length, hormone balance, actually improve more rapidly in supportive community settings than in isolation, even with identical health practices. Cayce's vision for creating spaces where this integrated approach to ageless living can flourish isn't just idealistic, it's pragmatic. When we gather with shared intention, we create energetic environments that make sustainable transformation more accessible for everyone involved. The journey becomes less about willpower and more about immersion in a field of possibility that naturally elicits our highest potential. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring the specific practices that form the foundation of this integrated approach. Because while the concept might seem intuitive, the actual implementation requires a roadmap, especially in a world that constantly pulls us toward fragmentation rather than wholeness. If what I'm saying resonates with your own experience or intuition about aging, write in the comments. Integration is the key. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how these principles have shown up in your own life. If you've stayed with me through this exploration of mind-body-spirit integration, I hope you're feeling that spark of possibility about your own ageless journey. This approach isn't just transformative, it's accessible to anyone willing to practice presence and alignment each day. I create these videos because I genuinely believe this knowledge should be in everyone's hands. If you found value in today's conversation, consider subscribing to join our community of people committed to redefining what aging means. This is just one piece of a much larger puzzle we're exploring together. If something in this message specifically spoke to your current chapter in life, drop "integration is the key" in the comments. I'd love to connect with you there and hear your perspective. A gentle tap on the like button helps others discover this conversation too, which means our community of integrated aging grows stronger. I've actually created a companion, a video that dives into the practical daily rituals that support this mind-body-spirit alignment. Click right here and continue this journey with me. I think you'll find it illuminates the path forward in some unexpected ways.